Your name?
Hi, my name is Harry Martin. I'm the Director of Advanced Technologies here at Verizon Wireless. And I'm here at what we're calling a tech tour to help introduce the launch of 4G LTE into the Wilkes-Barre, Scranton area. Very exciting times. But you know what? We talk about 4G LTE, you talk about various performances, you talk about improvements in speeds, improvements in performance and latency, things like that. But what's really exciting is what this will enable. It'll enable businesses to possibly be more productive in the field. They'll be able to have their sales teams be able to do more. They'll be able to talk to their service department to be able to do more in a day. And then actually to the regular consumer, they'll be able to possibly change their lifestyle. I mean, let's face it, we're all juggling busy schedules, right? And in that busy schedule, you're trying to figure out how to balance work and life. Finally, there is a service that can help make that possible.
How far advanced is the 4G network now? Is this something exclusive to this Wilkes-Barre market, or is this something widespread across the country? How far advanced is it at this point?
Good question. We've introduced 4G LTE in December of 2010. And at that time, we introduced it into 38 markets. We have aggressively been rolling that out since. We are now at 102 markets. So obviously, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton is one of our priority markets. So again, 102 million. By the end of this year, it'll be 102 markets. By the end of this year, it'll be 140. Our aggressive commitment, though, is that we will roll out 4G LTE everywhere we have our current broadband service by the end of 2013. That's a very aggressive timeline.
Okay. What are some of the benefits for the average consumer out there that they'll see in the 4G LTE that they wouldn't have noticed in a previous
Okay,
operation?
so the average person would probably notice it best with streaming video.
Okay.
You know, so many of us go to YouTube, right? And when you go to YouTube, what happens if you try to do it in a mobile environment? Oftentimes you start the download and everybody has seen that video freeze, right? That's called buffering. Well, now with the speeds that are available with 4G LTE, which by the way, we are stating that typical speeds will be anywhere between 5 and 12 megabits per second, which is incredibly fast. Leapfrogs anything else that's out there. Now all of a sudden with those speeds, I will no longer see buffering. I'll be able to download high definition video and to be able to do it without any interruption.
Could you show us some of this stuff on the on your tablet here? Could we see some examples?
No, not this tablet is not 4G enabled.
Okay.
The reason why I have this tablet is that the Times Leader just published an article. Nick DiLorenzo put out an article to talk about the fact that you got a sneak peek into it. Wasn't sure of availability. Well, today, July 21st, is that day where it became commercially available. But what excited Nick was the possibility of having this type of speed in his hands, and he talks about the ability to do streaming video. He goes on to talk about, we've been hearing so much about cloud computing. Cloud computing now is possible because of the speeds of 4G LTE.
All right.
The less that you what we're doing now.
Your name, please?
Brian Mahusky for Allied Services in Clark Summit.
Okay. Now, what have you noticed as a Verizon customer since the introduction of the 4G LTE network? Has it increased your efficiency at all?
For our efficiency in patient accounting and billing and stuff like that, we do have some employees that do work from home half the time, and the speed for our billing and transferring any data back and forth to our corporation has been lightning speed.
It's a big increase for you, efficiency.
Efficiency-wise, yes. I mean, it gets bills out quicker for Allied Services, gets paid quicker. Yeah, and employees' time.
Good.
We get production more production.
Definitely a big upgrade for you guys.
It's a great upgrade.
Very good. All right.
Open up the presentation today. And what my partner and I are going to be speaking over the next few minutes, a little bit why the 4G network's different, what makes it different, why you should think about it differently as you approach business issues in your daily lives or even in your personal lives. Alcatel-Lucent, we are a partner of Verizon and Verizon Wireless. We don't make a device. What we make is the core infrastructure of the network. We make the towers, we make the routers that make the network happen. So I'll be talking a little bit about why the network's different, why it lends itself to unique applications. And then we've got some great demonstrations. We've put together some streaming video demonstrations. We've also put together a day in the life demonstration to really show you, hopefully show you, how this can work in your business. So,
let me set this architecture a little bit. I've got a tablet PC back here, and I'm using just a commercial Verizon LTE dongle, and this is using the commercial network that's here in Wilkes-Barre, and so we're hugely excited about that. And so everything you see is going to be live over the commercial network. Let's show them the media portal. Brace yourselves, there's going to be a lot going on when we pull this up. This is something that we put together to kind of drive home the power of LTE. So what you're seeing is not 1 or 2, but you're seeing 7 concurrent streams of video. Now, as you look at that screen and go around the edge, you're seeing 6 smaller, lower res video streams. Each of those is between like 3 and 400K. So if you took 2 of those, that would be a reasonable heavy lift for the 3G network today. But we're actually running 7 streams of video. The 6 400K on the edges, and then in the middle we've got a higher resolution 3 meg video stream. That is, in aggregate, about 5 to 6 meg of downlink bandwidth that's live over the network. And if you take a look at the meter that's in the middle of the screen, you're going to see that we had an initial buffering spike of 21 meg in order to launch these streams of video, and now our run rate to present the images is about 5.8 meg. This is pretty remarkable on the commercial network right now. So pretty excited about that.
So what he's doing here, he's pulling all these videos and he's consuming somewhere around 5 to 6 megabits per second on a wireless network in a vehicular environment, which is truly impressive. If you were to look at that from a wireline standpoint, that would be a minimum of 4 T1s just to support what he's doing here. And you hear us talk a lot about latency. And for those of you that aren't real familiar with latency, latency is the time it takes when you hit send on your phone or you click enter on your computer to go out and come back. I like to say the latency, you can have bandwidth and you can have latency. It's almost like having a sports car like a Corvette. If you had a Corvette that went up to 200 miles per hour, but it took 3 minutes to get there, it's kind of pointless. And that's some of the things that we overcome, which enable us to do cloud computing and other things. Now this is a great example of latency and some of the power of LTE.
Okay. Now why don't you go ahead and just so that they'll know that we're doing this real time, why don't you pick some of these low bit rates and let's move them into high bit rate and show what happens.
Why don't you pick the center one on the left? And you'll see, as he clicks this image and he puts it in the center, you'll see a very fast channel change. And then pick the center one on the right.
Just clicked it.
And then pick one more for good measure.
Okay, I'm going to pick the one in the upper right. I've always been a fan of that one. So
Okay.
here we go. I'll
If
click
you
it right
can
now. Okay.
see in the back, you'll see these red spikes. What happened in those red spikes is he did a channel change. And then one of the characteristics of LTE that does very well is it goes out and grabs available bandwidth. So it looks like he spiked up to about 12 megabits per second. Right on the top end of the average 5 to 12 down user experience, but if there's more available, it can go grab it quick. That's the bandwidth headroom availability. But if you notice how narrow those spikes are, that's a function of the latency. Went out and grabbed that data, brought it back and painted that in the center. Very impressive where we've come from. For comparative purposes, let's say you had a 3G network that could spike up to 12 or 20 megabits per second, but you had today's latency. To put that image in the center could take 3 to 4 seconds on today's network. So you start to see the power of the change and what you can do with it, and we'll show some of that in the multimedia examples in just a minute.
Okay,
What else?
so now because this is a tablet equipped with LTE, it's powerful enough for me to run multiple applications at the same time on the device. So I'm going to go across the widgets or the icons at the top, and I'll show you that I can be running multiple applications at the same time. So this could be a browsing session. This could be a Street View. Now, everybody can do Street View, but the idea of being able to do Street View and download a 1.5 meg of a 360 view in a 1.5 seconds, that is unique to LTE. Going further, I could do a file transfer. If I'm in the field and I've got a large video I wanted to send up, I could send it up, and all in the background this is going on. Let me take a quick second here with the little man and take him out to where we're located, which is, are we at Laird or Motor World? I guess it doesn't matter. I'll just drop him here and we're going to get a view. But there we go. Looks like it was a foggy day, and obviously advancing this down the road, let me move this out of the way. very quick. The concept here isn't so much Street View, it's the idea that, as Mike mentioned, we are doing a cloud application. The data, obviously, it's in server farms that are massive, is not on the device, and the application is not on the device. My tablet essentially becomes a browser that would give me cloud access to the applications that would make a difference to my business.
Oh, what else do you have?